As we wrap up Pride Month today, we want to introduce you to a woman blazing a trail at Calvin University.
News 8's Emily Leonard introduces us to Calvin's first openly gay student body president.
Her name is Claire Murashima, and she's joining us via Zoom from North Carolina. Claire, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You wrote in your school publication that you have a desire to lead Calvin and the CRC into the future, and that you want other queer students to see themselves in your story. So what was your experience coming out at Calvin University?
Yeah, so really what I wanted to do it for was just to increase representation of the queer community. We'd never had a student body president who was queer before, and within the CRC, which is the denomination associated with Calvin University, there are over 200,000 congregants, and we only have one deacon who is in a same-sex marriage. So I just wanted people to see, students at Calvin or just kids growing up in the CRC, that if they are, you know, lesbian, gay, bisexual, like there is representation, and that they're not alone.
So you grew up in California and in North Carolina. What attracted you to Calvin?
Yeah, so I kind of came to Calvin because I wanted a breath of fresh air. I went to a pretty big public high school. It was pretty liberal, and I'd always been intrigued by just going to a private school because I'd never done that. So when I got into Calvin, I kind of felt, I just felt kind of pulled to go there and just to experience something really different, and also live in the Midwest where I'd never lived. So it's been a great experience. I really liked being able to connect with my faith and meet so many people and like ask questions fearlessly is something that Calvin really emphasizes and that I was able to do there.
Nice. What are your plans for your future?
Oh, that's a huge question. I don't know. I'm kind of just taking it like a few months at a time. Right now, I'm doing some freelance journalism work at the moment, but I'm hoping to move to DC and get an internship. I really had, you know, a realization within my presidency that I wanted to go into journalism, and there are so many ways to make change. You know, I've, you know, becoming part of institutions or just holding them accountable in other ways, and I really see my part of the story as, you know, sharing my story, continuing to share other stories, and I hope to do that through journalism.
Yeah, and you did share that story in the Calvin publication, Chimes, and in that you asked a question, almost a bit of a challenge. You wrote, who will represent queer students in these intensive governance committees after I'm gone? So what is your message to your fellow classmates at Calvin?
Yeah, well, first I would want to say thank you. Like, thank you for letting me serve as student body president. It was the most fun and incredible thing that I've ever done. And secondly, I also want to say thank you for all of the great conversations and the support. And even if people hold a more traditional stance on marriage, I've just been met with so much kindness at Calvin. So, you know, after I get those, you know, after I say those things to students, I would also just want to say that there are so many queer students at Calvin. They're in your classes, they're in your dorms, and the little comments that people make, like they really add up, and sometimes you don't know the effect that, you know, a certain phrase or a word has on someone. So just, you know, live as if somebody you know is LGBTQ, and always, you know, show that respect to people as well.
Claire, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you for having me.